evening, everyone. So glad to have you on the show tonight. You're welcome to Tuesday Live with Ayo Lawrence. Welcome to Tuesday Live with Ayo Lawrence. I see that quite a number of people are joining. So glad to have you all. Thank you so much for joining. So glad to have you, Temitope Ara. Thank you for joining. Oluwatoyin. So glad to have you on the call. Please let's tell other people to join in, even as we discuss something very vital. Today is going to be an introduction into it. Next week we'll go deeper into the topic that we have today. Yes, Yomi Ute, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to have everyone join me tonight. It's such a beautiful thing to see your faces virtually and just to have you on the call. Thank you so much. You know what? Before now, I just do videos and we post. And at the beginning of the new year, I was having a meeting, with my team. And part of the things we decided was, Ayo, you need to, do some live broadcast. And along the lines, I was like, okay, I'll think about it. So last week we did a post on the topic we're going to be talking about now. And immediately that post went out. It was just so strong in my heart that, yes, that's a topic we're to look at, and that will be our live, for the live. But I hadn't decided, the day that it will be. So I was looking through my calendar, which day, can we really have this, our Tuesday live conversation? And looking at my calendar, I found out, Tuesday happens to be a very good one. So I agreed, and I decided, okay, Tuesday is fine. So we started preparing, getting ready for the D-Day and all. And voila, this morning, I was about handing something over to our daughter, our second child, and my phone dropped. My precious phone dropped. My workspace dropped. My machine dropped. And I was like, oh my world, what am I going to do? I thought I was going to be able to cope. It's a flip. So the upper part was disabled. I couldn't do anything. The down part, I could still, move things around, but it was just very, very uncomfortable. Because if you start doing something down and you still have something to do, at the upper part of the phone, you can't continue. So I was just at that state of, oh, what will I do? I had 2 in-person sessions in the morning, had the first one, had the second one. Unfortunately, as I was wrapping up the second, I just shared with my clients that, I have this channel. We're like, we know someone, that can do it and get it fixed today. And that was how I left the office, I had to cancel the other appointments I had for the day to get it fixed. And trust me, I got back home less than 2 hours ago. And I had to quickly, get other things ready and just to be here tonight. Along the line, I was like, should I cancel this? Maybe I should just cancel and we'll meet another day. But I like keeping my word. I like, just standing by what I've said I'm going to do. And that's why I'm here tonight. So we're going to have like an introduction to the topic we have today, and then next week we're going to delve into it deeply. I'm grateful to God I'm able to still make it against all odds. One of my friends said, you're still so calm with all that is happening. I said, what can I do? The phone is broken. There's nothing I can do. I should just keep my calm and see what I can do, to get the result that I want. I want my phone to be up and running, to be able to attend to my clients and to be able to do other things. And here we are. My phone is up. I'm so grateful, super grateful that I was able to get it fixed today. So people on the call, please celebrate with me. Rejoice with me, please. Let me feel the energy that I have that my phone is back, even on the call. Yes, please rejoice with me that I have my phone back. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for being a part of, choosing to be a part of today's conversation. Let me introduce myself for those of us who don't know me. My name is Ayo Lawrence, and I am the Queen of Premium Family Life Practice. I'm a counselor, a coach, a therapist, and I exist to ensure that my clients, either individuals, couples, organization, are at bliss. That's the reason why I've been created, to ensure that everyone around me enjoys bliss. And I'm so excited to have you all on the show tonight. Our topic tonight is about tough conversations. And this is something that yes, thank you so much. I'm so glad you are glad that my phone is back. Yes, it can really disrupt one's life indeed, and I'm so grateful it's back. So tonight we're talking about something very crucial, and the topic we're looking at is tough conversations. Quite a number of people don't love engaging in tough conversations, and it's very important that from time to time we do this, because if we don't involve ourselves in these conversations and we run away from them, we will yet come back to them. And the thing is, the point at which you now come back to those conversations, a lot of things might have gone wrong. And I know that some of the reasons why people don't want to engage in tough conversations is, how will the other party take it? Will it degenerate, after the conversation is kicked off? Will I be able to achieve what I really, really want to achieve at the end of the day? So these are some of the reasons why people don't want to engage in tough conversations. But it is very, very, very important we do this. As family members, as people in relationships, maybe a couple, as parents to children, as siblings, from time to time, it's important that we know that we can involve ourselves in tough conversations. I've tried to scribble a few things down to make our conversation tonight, smooth sailing. And from time to time, I'll be going into what I've written down so that, we can have a very robust conversation. I'd also like you to know that this space is a space for us to learn, for us to grow, and for us to even reflect and even relearn, and sometimes even unlearn, because there's some things we have learned as a result of, how we grew up, the environment we grew up in, the things we're exposed to, the significant emotional experiences that we've had. And these things have formed how we see life and how we do life. So in this space, we will be helping us look at some of those things that we need to take off, and some of those things we need to continue, doing, and some of those things we need to add, to our lives. And also, I would encourage us to drop our questions. If there are questions that you would like me to answer, please drop your questions even as we go along. So, I believe the first question that would come to the hearts of a lot of us is, why do we, avoid tough conversations? And I've, said a little bit about that. Why do we avoid tough conversations? In my little walk with people, I've come to understand that some people avoid tough conversations because they never grew up having conversations. So when they now meet someone who is willing to engage them in conversation, they just try to wriggle out or find a way of saying, you know what, let me not have this. Some people grew up not having conversations with the people around them, either their parents, either their siblings, either their friends, whatever it is. They grew up not having these conversations, and now when they are now in relationships, whether married or even with friends, they find it very, very difficult, to ignite conversations. But we've come to understand that it is very important. So if you're that kind of a person who finds it very difficult to do this, then there are a few things I would encourage you, to do. A few things that I've scribbled and that I believe would help you to be able to begin to engage tough conversations and get the results that you really, 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 really want. So the first thing when it comes to tough conversations is you need to prepare for it. So it's not something that you will just jump into. You need to be able to prepare to have this conversation, because we know that preparation is key to navigating these moments, to navigating those things that might crop up, as a result of the conversation you're having with the person or a group of people. So before you bring up the conversation, there are a few questions you need to ask yourself. And the first one I have here is, what do I want to achieve? What really do I want to achieve as a result of the conversation I want to have with this individual or with this group of people? What's the result I want to get? Is it that I just want to win, or I just want there to be understanding of where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to pass across with the person or the persons that you're having this conversation with? Another thing is, with whatever is happening at that point in time, how do you feel? Because it's important that you touch base with yourself. A lot of us find it difficult to touch base with ourselves. A lot of us find it difficult to lean inwards, and it's very important that we begin to cultivate that habit of, leaning inwards and having conversations, communion with oneself. We've been groomed with having conversations with other people, but if we choose to learn to have conversations with ourselves, we will be able to touch base with our feelings from time to time. So how do you feel even about having to go into having that tough conversation? Do you feel it's something that it's great for you to do? Do you feel it's something that it's a waste of your time? The way you feel goes a long way in how that conversation is going to pan out at the end of the day. So you need to touch base with yourself as regards, how do I feel even as I am going into having this conversation? And then the third thing is, how can I make the other person feel heard? I love this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits says that seek first to understand and then to be understood. So most of the time you have people having conversations and they keep screaming at the top of their voice, you don't understand me, you don't understand me. And the other party too is saying, you don't understand me. But the thing is, if you seek to understand the person or the persons you're speaking with, and the persons you're speaking with also seek to understand you, you find out that the issue of you don't understand me becomes a thing of the past. Because the two of you have intentionally, sought to understand each other or one another, depending on the number of people who are having the conversation. So it is important for you to seek to understand, so that at the end of the day, you leave the other party feeling great. You don't want the other party to feel less than a human being. You don't want the other party to feel, not so good with himself or herself as a result of having a conversation with you. So you need to ask yourself, how can I make this person feel heard? how can I make this first person feel better? Because if you make the person feel heard, definitely the person will feel better. And even in the process, if it's the person that hasn't done well, because he or she feels heard, the person will even be able to apologize to you and say, I'm so sorry for the way I have behaved. I'm so sorry for the way I have spoken. I'm so sorry for the way I have made you feel. My apologies. So it is very important that when you are going into tough conversations with people, you know what you want to achieve. It's very clear. From the beginning, you're clear what you want to achieve, and you are driving the conversation in such a way that your goal is achieved. Then, how do you feel even about the conversation you want to have? And then, how can you make the other person feel heard? Very important. We must be able to make the person or the persons we're in conversations with feel heard, and not just we trying to impose our thoughts, our ideologies, our thinking, on the person or the persons we are in conversation with. Another thing that, needs to happen when you're having tough conversations is there must be clarity. So when you're speaking with a person, you must be clear. There must be clarity of thoughts. And even as you are, as there is clarity of thought, you must also engage empathy. You must be empathetic, with the person or the persons you're having conversations with. You must be able to say, let me, hear out and seek to feel what this person is feeling. Sort of you putting yourself in the other person's shoes so that you can be able to handle the situation in a way that is fair. So it's important that when you're having the conversation, there is clarity and empathy can be felt by the person or the persons you are having conversations with. You must be able to ensure that the timing for that conversation is right. The timing must be right. It must be the time that the two of you are willing to have a conversation. The timing must be right, and as much as possible, there must be there must be neutrality. You are not trying to swing to one side. You are indeed trying to hear what the other person has to say. You are indeed trying to see through the eyes of the other person. You are indeed trying to put yourself in the shoes of the other person so that the conversation can be rich, the conversation can be robust, and a good conclusion arrived at the end of the day. Another thing that is very, very crucial is you must be able to manage your emotions. Most of the time when people are having tough conversations, if the emotions are not properly handled, you find out that there's tension everywhere and the emotions begin to, run wild. So you need to have talked to yourself even before you get into that conversation. And that was why I was saying that you need to have how you want the conversation to end in mind even from the beginning. So you've told yourself, no matter what this person says, I'm going to maintain my cool. No matter what this person says, I'm going to keep pinching myself. So if the first person, if it's a two-man conversation, makes that decision, and the second person also makes that decision, as the conversations are going on, the thing is, you'll find out that they will be able to have a rich conversation as against individuals who have not, taken into consideration their emotions before the conversation starts. So you must be able to manage your emotions beforehand. You must be able to talk to yourself and say, you know what, no matter what goes on in this conversation, I'm going to maintain my cool because I know where I want this conversation to end. I want us to be able to understand each other. I want us to be able to see, and appreciate what you're both saying. Then, when you're having tough conversations, it is important that you lead with understanding. I said it at the beginning, seek to understand and not to accuse. That is how you always, you never, such things should not show up when having tough conversations. You must come to the table with the mindset of, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your own side of the story. I want to really, really understand what you're trying to say at this point in time, and not to come from an accusatory point of view. So it is important that you lead with understanding as against accusation. Like I said, I'm not going to finish everything today. This is more like an introduction, and then next week we are going to go into navigating tough conversations effectively. I would like to say that if you have any question, please get into the chat and drop your question there. If you have any questions regarding navigating tough conversations, please get into the chat and drop your questions there. I have one question here, and I'm going to read it out. The person says, how does one handle a situation in a marriage-bound relationship? So this particular question is marriage-related, where one partner does not want to have deep and tough conversations. So you are in a marriage relationship and one partner does not want to have these tough conversations that we are asking of. So the first thing that will be great for you to troubleshoot is, where is this person coming from? I mentioned it at the beginning that some people don't like having tough conversations because of where they're coming from. So you need to understand where the person is coming from. How is the person's upbringing like? Which kind of environment did this person grow up in? Because really, if we know that a tough conversation is going to lead to a resolution, is going to lead to understanding, then why would we want to shy away from it? Ideally, we will want to have these tough conversations. But because some people growing up, they were not exposed to this, it is tough for them to see the reason why they need to have such conversation. So if you're able to troubleshoot and find out the reason why exactly this person, because there's always a reason why this person has, is shying away from having this tough conversation, it's going to help you to be able to support this individual properly. So like I said, if the person happens to come from a home wherein they don't have this, then you have to now let the person see the reason why tough conversations need to be held. Because there's a saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So if the person you're having a conversation with, or you intend to have a conversation with, does not know even the reason, the purpose for which you are having that conversation, definitely the person will not want to sit with you. So you need to let the person know the purpose for which you're trying to call him or her to the table to have this conversation. And you also need to let the person see from a place of empathy, remember, the consequences for not having these tough conversations. What is going to happen to your relationship? What is going to happen to the two of you if these conversations are constantly ignored? If these conversations are constantly, put under the carpet, There's this analogy I like giving, that when you keep sweeping things under the carpet, it's like you sweeping, little dust under the carpet in your house, little dust under the carpet, little sand under the carpet. Before you know it, after some time, it swells up. And after some time, the carpet won't be able to hold the dust, the sand again. And everything comes raining down. That is what happens. So if you choose not to have tough conversations, you find out that at the end of the day, what you're running away from will come back to bite. So in this situation wherein one partner does not want to have deep and tough conversations, these are the things you need to do. You need to find out how the person grew up, the kind of environment the person grew up in, and then based on that, help the person to see the reason why these conversations need to be had, and then help the person to be able, to go back and to be able to see the consequences as a result of not having these tough conversations. So I hope I've been able to answer this question that was, turned in this evening. I'm still looking into the comments to find out if we have people that would like to ask questions regarding tough conversations. Next week we will go deeper. Next week we will look at navigating tough conversations, and I'm hopeful that by next week we will have more people with their question in the house, so that we can look at this together and see how we can support one another on this journey. Once again, remember that this is Tuesday Live with Ayo Lawrence. Tuesday Live with Ayo Lawrence. And I hope our thoughts that we have shared tonight, the introductions into what tough questions are, have helped you to a large extent. And then next week we will continue in this conversation. If there are no other questions, we'll call it an evening, we'll call it a morning, depending on the part of the world you're in, we'll call it a night, we'll call it an afternoon, and then we'll meet again next week, Tuesday, same time, same venue, on Instagram and on Facebook. Do take care, and God bless.